Hello everyone and welcome to my official tier list. Today we're going to be raw dogging it. We're going to be going through the entire thing. There's a lot of things that I want to talk about before we get started though. Like just general guidelines of like where I consider a god based on, like where they are, like based on their ratings. Oh, that way, right? It's opposite. Fuck, Jesus. Like, here, look, I'll make it like, ooh, look at that. You see, like on like this, based on, where they sit. Like for example, SS would be overpowered, whereas S plus would just be like really, really strong. And then like I'd say maybe like A plus or A. I'd say like around A is when like they would be average. They'd be like kind of viable. It depends on a lot of things. Anyways, yeah, you get the guidelines for that. I'll go more in depth to that in just a second. We got the face cam going for the tier list just to make it a little more interesting because we don't have music or anything. I felt I would just give my thoughts and give everything like that. If you want to skip to the end, you can go ahead and do that and just see my opinions, see everything. Another thing, the sweater's awesome, isn't it? Ugh. I think I've shown it before. I think it's my favorite sweater. I actually bought this one on my own before I was ever sponsored by Into the AM. But you should definitely check them out. Link in the description. And also, I'm doing a giveaway thing on my Instagram. If you didn't know, I have an Instagram. It's actually it'll be in the description as well. It's just Nick and then Rexsi, where I mentioned the sponsorship of the Into the AM, all that stuff. So go ahead and do that. And I'm also gonna be streaming after this is uploaded. I'm doing a drunk stream with Trelly and Double J. We're gonna be dicking around, having some fun. Dave's probably gonna be there too, I think, so that probably seals the deal. You should definitely come to that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Link in the description for that too. I think that's everything. And oh yeah, also I've got on the right side here, I've got my previous tier list, I've got other tier lists, and I've got references and certain things about certain gods and guidelines that I'm running through. So I'll probably be looking at the right side of my screen quite a bit, just to give myself some guidelines. Okay, let's get started, shall we? Okay, I got my coffee. I got my water. Let's do this. Okay, so to begin with everything, I think I'm gonna do one god of each ranking just to see where I'd think they would sit, just to give you an idea. So we'll start off with Freya. Freya is, I think, probably the strongest, almost certain is the strongest god in Duel right now. I can't really think of anybody else that would tower above Freya just overall right now. S plus would be your gods like that are really good, but not quite like on the unbeatable level, like based on like the average matchup. Put like Bakasura there for example, and then like like maybe Hebo. Right below that we would have the Hey Snowball. Wait, what is S again? It's like the not quite overpowered. Like S plus is overpowered, like and then SS is unbeatable. S would be just like really strong, like really strong. Jeez, Snowball, really, man? I just started. Come on. Okay. Who would we put in this? I think someone like maybe an ADC. I don't know if I would put. You actually gonna do this right now, man? Come on. I just need to get a reference before it'll make this go by a lot faster. Who else do we have here? I could throw in like I'm thinking. Also, I'm gonna be moving all these around right now, so none of these are final at all. All of these can be. Can you see him? That bastard. Hey, I just started the tier list. I just started. I fixed the damn door. Thank you for interrupting, Snowball. So speaking of snowballing characters, I think I'm just gonna throw Neith there for now. Neith or on her. Neith, and then maybe on her will be like S plus. I don't know. We'll figure that out in a second. S minus is just a little bit below that. We'd throw in gods like certain mages and stuff. I think maybe like Vulcan. Maybe it would be good here. let's see. All right, I'm gonna throw them out there based on old tier lists, see where things are. A+ is above average, like they're not horrible. They can actually work. Really Erlang Shen. We'll throw them there for now. None of this is final, like I said. A would be, for example, cut of the line average. Like they can work out. Sometimes they can't. Maybe Hun Batz, for example. Yeah, this is a difficult thing to get a reference for. We'll start throwing them in there, and then we'll move them around as we go along. Don't take any of this to the final verdict. Also, as you can guess, this is my opinion 100%. So if you don't like it, you can discuss it in the comments. You don't have to hate me for it. This is just as I think, just how I think of it as a, top tier GM player, and how I see it through the meta. A minus. A minus would be below average characters that kind of struggle. And then like A minus to like, anything below that is just, I'd say like, Isis maybe? Wait, where did Isis go? Oh, okay. Below average, maybe like Discordia, I think. She sucks. Well, actually, like, these would be, like, pretty bad. Like, I think maybe she would be A. I think it'd be, like, pretty bad. Who's, like, pretty bad? Mercury. I think Mercury. I'm trying to figure out who I want to put as the base for this. Ratatoskr. We'll throw him in here. Okay. Alright, and then anything below that is, like, really bad. We'll figure that out as we go along. Like, we'll throw some Guardians in there, for example. But I think we should get started. So with SS, I don't know if I want to put Amuzin with Freya up there. Let's go through some big ones. Uller is definitely an S+. He's still a very strong character. I think I'm going to throw Hui in S. Kali's in S. Kamazot's probably S as well. Maybe S-. Maybe S-. We'll figure it out. We'll blast through some of them, and then as I change them and I finalize like what I'm gonna do, then we'll discuss why we think one of them are like the individual gods are there. I'll just put them on and move them around, so it's a little more easy for me instead of like explaining why I think they're there and then like changing my mind. So we'll just go through that. Hachimani plus, Isis maybe A-. Isis has some potential. Agni S-. On her S. Anubis S. I want to get the higher tier gods here. Hades is probably A+ now. He's not as good. Naja. Oh shoot. Naja. A+. Maybe S-. Depends on the player, and we'll see that. We'll see in a minute. Nemesis A+. Susanoo, Thanatos A+. All depends on the player. Just making a point, all that with Thanatos and stuff. Who else? Ymir. Ymir is probably A+ or S-, depends on the player, like, like Iranian and stuff like that. But you have a high level Ymir. He's not as hard as you think, surprisingly enough. He is easily a higher tier character than you think. Xing Chen, probably like D or C or something, like something bad. Thor's kind of fallen off. I'd probably throw him in A. He doesn't work as well with Attacker's Blessing. Attacker's Blessing has made Assassins just skyrocket. That's what's changed the meta. There's no Death's Toll. Bluestone. Baron, maybe S-. Mercury's maybe A. Loki, A+. He's kind of fallen off a little bit. Now with Attackers, it's easier to snowball against him. Ao Kuang, A-. Kronos. There's going to be a lot of gods in like S-, A+, A. Nox, maybe A-. Her kit's just so simple. Colon, A, maybe A+. He has some potential. Can I not move him? Okay, there we go. We'll keep him an A+ for now. Like, A+, I think, is going to be a big one because a lot of gods have, like, a lot of potential, right? Like with Susanoo and Thanatos, for example, are some of my main gods, and, like, I could, consistently beat the higher tier characters. So it depends on a lot of, like, experience with the character and stuff like that, and knowing their potential. but it's just overall is something you also have to factor in when making a tier list. I'm not amazing at tier lists, but I will give my best insight. I'm sorry, my family was being a little loud there. Medusa? S minus. Throw that with soul there. Tier A, maybe A. I think tier is a little underrated. Does have a lot of damage. Aphrodite, A minus, maybe B. She's really bad. Who else? Hell, A plus. Thing about Hell is like if you don't snowball, you're fucked. You are so screwed. Hercules, we'll put him in A plus. Serket, maybe A. Raw, maybe even A plus. I do consistently well with Raw. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like the slows and stuff like that and keeping your distance, like he might even be like A plus from what I've seen. Rom, he could even be like between A and A minus. I think he's fallen off really hard. Basically, okay, I'm not gonna get too into it. Like I said, attacker's blessing and everything, it makes early game gods shine. Ravana, put him in A. Cyrus A plus, maybe. We'll see. Flash A minus. Achilles A plus. Thrasu. Maybe A plus. Maybe. I don't know. Like some of these gods, like I'm not really experienced with. I've tried my best and played a lot of gods this split. I think majority of them will be an A plus. Like they have a lot of potential. I'll throw Ares down to like B. Artemis A. She doesn't have much to her kit. B. Maybe A minus. Maybe A minus with Ardeo as well. We'll see. Felix A. Bacchus B. Maybe even C. Baztet. She's kind of fallen off surprisingly, even with Attacker's Blessing, but she still is, you know, kind of decent. Okay. Bologna. Probably A plus. I don't know where I'm gonna put Chernabog. I think he might be S minus. Yeah, overall, I mean, the immunity is like the main thing. Like his steroid is pretty decent. His ult's pretty good. Not amazing in duel, but it's still like pretty good in certain situations. Bracken, Cerberus A minus, Susanoo A plus, Chaka A plus, Chunga A minus, Chiron A, Cupid A plus probably, A plus, Daji A minus. I think she's horrible. Ganesha, throw him in C as well. So yeah, I'm gonna speed run this through. Don't take any of this like too seriously because at any point it can change. And I'm gonna change around. Like, okay, you know what? Fuck, I'm throwing them in B and then I'll move them down. Guan Yu, stuck between A and A plus. I think I'm gonna keep him in A for right now, but that god is actually a lot stronger than some people realize. Sonqui A plus, Scylla A plus probably, maybe. She pretty underrated. Izanami A plus, Janice A minus, Jingwei A, Capri throw him in B, Kukulkan A. Bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing. Nike, one of the worst gods. Odin, A minus-ish. Poseidon, maybe S minus. Like overall, like with how people play that character, maybe S minus. Raijin there. Scotty. I don't know, man. I feel as if I don't see Scotty at all anymore. I feel like she's between S minus and A plus, definitely. Definitely. Keep her at S minus for now. Sobek is not at A. Wukong, kind of fell off a little bit without Bluestone, I think. Attackers is decent with them, but I don't know. We'll get into that in a minute. Terra, down here as well. Morrigan, maybe A minus. Thoth, A plus. Vamana, A X-Ball, A minus, and Zeus. Maybe A. Okay. So let's move some shit around, shall we? So let's discuss some stuff. We'll start from the top, work our way down, and then decide why we put them there, and then if we want to move them, okay? All right, so we got a reference. We have a decent idea as to how I feel about this. Like I said, this is my opinion. You don't have to take anything I say here too seriously. But I am going to be moving everything around. This is my personal opinion, and this is how I'm going to see it. SS, overpowered. Like, or past overpowered. They're, like, practically unbeatable majority of the time in matchups. S plus is really overpowered. Like, their SS and S plus are really close, but I feel as if Freya just towers over them just a tiny bit. These characters are just top of the line. Like, if you pick them, there's very little chance that you are going to lose to anyone below you. Like, if you were to pick any of these characters, there's a good chance, unless you have a counter matchup, you are going to lose two characters below you, pretty much. S is top of the line, top tier, but they still have a lot of faults, like little weaknesses, like needs backflip. Huyi has kind of fallen off a little bit. I don't know why. Kali is 100% fallen off from the very, very top, just because of Attacker's Blessing. It makes it better for ability-based, but it's also more difficult to get online against characters that can build Attacker's Blessing. Tier 1 trans and then go into that trans build and, you know, keep at bay. She only has so much in her kit. Blink isn't as effective with Bracer and all that nowadays. No Fatalis, so she's kind of fallen off on her. Really, Snowball? Are you serious, man? Honor's kind of in the same boat. I feel as if he isn't. I don't know what it is, but I don't see Honors as much recently. He doesn't feel like he's as strong as like last split. Maybe it's because of the nerf to Destal. Get in here, come on, bastard. I think it's because of the no death toll that really put like a dent in a lot of auto attack characters, especially like range ones like on her. Neath, although it made her a lot better, I think she's actually really good ability based. Didn't really put a dent in AMC though, because AMC is still just ridiculous. I think that's also what happened with Huyi, is just, although trans Huyi is still really good, it's not as good as in general as like Dev Gaunts and stuff like that, and it makes those kind of characters just, you know, like a little worse. Let go. No, let go. What? Okay. Let's move down to S minus. S minus is a step below that. These characters are not top tier, but they're still really good in comparison to the average character you will play. So right now we have Vulcan. Vulcan is good, but if you catch him without his kit, he is like completely screwed. He has a very easily dodgeable ult from a distance for securing kills. I apologize. I think they're done. Camazotz, I was actually debating on putting on S. That god is a hell of a lot stronger than people realize. As long as you consistently are decent at hitting your 2, you know when to heal and you know your potential with that character. Like, he's my highest win ratio character. He is a hell of a lot stronger than people realize. And yeah, Agni, you can pretty much poke as much as you like from a distance. He's pretty close to S, actually, if you think about it. I would consider actually moving him up. He's just really good at poking, consistent damage. The way Bancroft's is nowadays just makes him so good. I would consider moving Baron down to A+. Baron is pretty good. I know a lot of people say he's overpowered. This character is not overpowered. I don't care how much you want to drill it into my head. He's not an overpowered character. I play against this character, at least in Duel. I play against this character every single day. I stream every single day, and I played against this character probably like dozens of times with low tier characters, with high tier characters, and I know how I feel about this character. And if you know what you're doing against the Baron, and you juke his 3, for example, and you know when to juke his huge AoE heal, you dodge that character is completely screwed. you're ready for the ultimate and you prepare for his kit. His kit's simple. It's like it's a little annoying, obviously. He's like a mage. It's just people aren't used to him yet. And they do the same thing they do with every goddamn new release, I swear to God, where it's just like, ooh, I don't know how to play against this character, so he's obviously OP. Just like the Naja buff. Ooh, Naja got buffed a little bit, but he's S plus now. No, he's not. He barely moved up the tier list. It's like I used to play Naja last split, and I won just as much as I do this split, just because people just didn't know how to play against Naja, and all of a sudden he came back, and like people just thought he was strong, so they started playing them, and people who don't know how to play against them because he's not often played in Duel are just like, Godspell. Ah, God, it's the worst. Got to get that out there. That's how I feel about that. My tier lists. It's like, just because you don't have a certain experience with a character doesn't mean he's bad, and just because you have a lot of experience with the character doesn't mean he's good. Okay, I have so much experience with Susanoo and Thanatos. If this was based on like how I play, I'd put him up in like S plus, like S plus, probably S, but. And then I'd move like Uller up to SS. Like, but it's not on that. It's based on my opinion. Like, it's my opinion and my own experience in relation to the experience, like overall, like how I think they would work, like on the average person's, like level, right? Like the average, like a newcomer, like compared to like a high level player, right? Like overall, Okay, all right, good. We got that out there. All right, cool. All right, Kronos. I actually consider moving Baron down, but overall I think he should stick there just because the players still aren't used to him yet. Now we'll keep him there. Kronos kind of got screwed over with the changes of Haste and Katana, but he still is a very strong character overall. With Bancroft's and Attacker's Blessing were the biggest things this meta for Duel. They just destroyed the competition. It changed it around so much. Looking at my old tier list, it's just so much has changed. A lot of auto attack heavy gods aren't as amazing. They're still really good characters, especially late game, but it's just mainly a snowball meta. You get ahead with the character, and sometimes you can go wild. They surrender in 5 minutes. Kronos, if you build like Mage's Blessing into Warlocks, and then like maybe pick up a Bancroft's later on, he's still just as strong late game. The only thing is, like I said, early game, it's kind of a bit of a bitch as Kronos, especially without the hastened effect. It's like poke and then get away with it. So you kind of have to factor in that you're going to get poked out really hard or out-cleared. And, yeah. Still a really good character, though, especially with that ultimate of his. Medusa's kind of in the same boat. She was in S, but I don't know. Medusa actually does work pretty well with trans, now that I think about it. I might move her up to S. Is she the same level as Neith? Neith is so underrated, man. Neith is easily one of the strongest characters to split. Yeah, I'm going to throw her up there. She's one of the few gods that building ability-based actually works out on. With the changes to, like not being able to go Death's Toll into like tier 1 dev gaunts and then just chilling, healing, not being too out-sustained. So I think we'll move him up to S. Soul is kind of like a hit or miss. She's good, but she's not amazing. You still go Hunter's Blessing on her, and then tier 1 Bancroft. She normally completely out-clears you, out-sustains you early game. The only problem is like mid-game, I think she kind of struggles. Once like you kind of get your damage online, you're not like getting out-sustained and stuff like that, and you can deal with her damage. Late game, she's still really fucking strong. But I think she's fine in S-. Chernabog. Alright, how long are we at for this recording? 24 minutes. Good, we're making good time. We do have a lot of gods to go through, though. Okay, Chernabog, like I said, has a really good ultimate. He works well with the ability-based is the thing, but I don't think he's as great as, like, Neith or Anher or Huyi or any of the other ADCs, just because he got really hard nerfed. His steroid is pretty decent, and I think his dash is probably his strongest thing. But the only thing is that like his root is very easy to dodge, which is a good chunk of his damage. If you dodge that, then you can most likely outbox him with another ADC, like one of those guys up there who would also build ability based. and do more with their kit than Chernabog would be able to do. But he does have that immunity, which makes him up there, as well as his ult with his damage mitigations and stuff like that. It puts him in a good spot, but I don't think he's S-level material. Poseidon, fuck Poseidon and everything about him. Say with the Vulcan, God, man, I hate to admit it, but that's kind of how the meta is. It's like, it's the bitch meta. It's, you sit under tower, and nowadays it's harder to do Bull Demon as certain characters that rely on, you know, like certain Guardians, like, or just not really high DPS characters that could normally do Bull Demon and then time it between. I apologize for this. 1 second. You want to hear my dogs bark? Bork, bork, bork. Can we get some woofs in the chat, please? Just kidding, I'm not streaming. I'm doing this live. Of course. I'm gonna lose my shit, dude. Oh my god, they haven't barked all day. The second that I start this little asshole goes to open the door. Yeah, you. He goes to open the damn door. And then my doggos just decide, oh my god, my hair. Dude, when I put the earphones on, it spreads like my sides there. Okay, anyways, where were we? We were... Wait, why do I have these on? We were on side. Yeah, basically the meta is you can go 2/2 Bancrofts or Mage's Blessing, stuff like that. Hit the wave and then just run. Pop your 2 as Poseidon, or just continue to knock up and then 1 away with Vulcan. Place your turret down, let it do all the work, and then try and ult them at the end. Play like a Bajeen. God, Snowball got hair everywhere. And yeah, Scotty. I don't know if she got nerfed. But I think, oh, never mind. Poseidon and Vulcan, I think they deserve their spot there. I don't like it, but that is what it is. I think I made this too small. There we go. Okay. Scotty's weird. Scotty's like, I feel like she kind of fell off a little bit, but I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it. But I feel like she deserves to be an S-, but not S. Like, she's not played very much, and whenever I played against her, she just doesn't do very well overall. I'm trying to think of what it would be. See, because attack, like, she would sometimes build 2/2 trans and get away with it. Maybe it's because Scotty used to dominate early game, but nowadays there's just so many characters that can deal with the early game now with Attacker's Blessing and through one Transcendence, or just Attacker's Blessing in general. The extra damage that they could have. Maybe that's it. I'm thinking that's probably why. 'Cause it makes the early game a little easier to deal with. Before she'd get ahead and then, you know, sick the dog on you, you'd be fucked. I think she's good in S-. Okay, A+ is playable. I'd say these gods you could play in duel. It would be a little difficult, but they're not overpowered and they're not underpowered. But they would be a little challenging to play in duel. They'd be a little difficult. Okay, we'll go with that. So Erlang Shen has kind of fallen off as well. He used to be top of the line, but then, once again, he lost the Hasten Fatalis effect with his 1. He still has it with his 3 now, but now his 3 is his most consistent way of damage. But his clear isn't as good nowadays, I would say. No, actually, it's fine. I think just the pressure or something, like early game, just with Attacker's Blessing and all that jazz, and then just rushing anti-heal. Not much Erlang can do, but we don't know where he's going to sit after the Gladiator, or not the Berserker Shield. I think that is going to have a direct effect on gods like Erlang and Bellona. Bellona's in here, right? She's got to be. Yeah, okay, I was about to say. I think they're kind of in the same boat. They're just auto-attack based characters that kind of like got screwed over a tiny bit by this meta. I don't know if I want to have them in the same spot as like Susanoo and like Thanatos, now that I think about it though. I think I might move Susanoo and Thanatos down. And then like other certain gods. Like, I don't think that Susanoo and Thanatos deserve to be in the same spot as, like, Bellona and Erlang. That just feels stupid. Let's look at other gods. Because I'm just trying to think of, like, these general matchups. Although I think, you know, like, overall, like, Thanatos and Susanoo could do that well. I don't think that they should be up that high. Maybe they'd be, like, in the middle here. I'm just trying to think. Give me a second here. I'm considering moving Hachiman down. Okay, so Hachiman, I've talked about this in the video that I did with him. His steroid, the big use of it, like, you know, like standing on it for a second, you get that additional steroid and stuff like that. It's not as reliable. His dash is a little wonky. His kit's just wonky in general. It can be blocked, like his horse. His kit just doesn't fit as well with the other ADCs. He can work with ability base, but the whole thing about ability base is it's really good for mana and stuff like that. And, you know, Hachiman doesn't really need mana because of the transcendence and stuff like that. So I'm considering moving him down to A. This is where it kind of gets tricky because of the way I'm doing this. Because normally, like, there would be a lot more like an S- and stuff like that. But I want to go with this sort of tier list, right? I think these gods can be played to a certain level. Like, these are above average gods that you could get away with playing in general, but would be a little pretty challenging versus these ones. And these ones, and then like A would be like, that's borderline, like it's difficult. If you want to win with these gods, most likely you're going to play against gods that are above you, like in this tier list, and you are going to struggle. That is how it's going to go. It's difficult, like in general. Okay, we'll keep Hachiman there. Hades actually kind of fell off, surprisingly enough, for two main reasons. Number one, attackers, obviously. And number two, Bancrofts, I mean, like the early game with attackers, they can kind of deal with it. But now it's just getting to late game with Hades is just a little more difficult. And he used to be like on the same level as Anubis, but nowadays it's just like, I wonder what it is. Maybe it's Bracer. I'm trying to think. But I remember I thought about this. Hades has kind of fallen off. I think it's mainly to do with Attacker's Blessing and being able to deal with his clear. And then, okay, I think the main reason is dealing with his poke, and then so he doesn't snowball, because normally he'd be able to snowball, insta clear the wave, go to red, do whatever he really wanted. But now it's like he only has 2 potions if he rushes Bancrofts. And if he builds Mage's Blessing, it's going to take him a little too long to get online. And then with Attacker's Blessing, you can out-pressure him on most gods, or like keep up with this pressure so he won't snowball. It'll be kind of a stalemate, and if you're smart about playing away from his sustain, waiting till you have anti-heal, you get late game and you win. Because Hades, once his kit is down, like he misses like his 3, or he jumps, or he ults the wrong time, he just beads it. What does Hades do? He has nothing. He has long cooldowns, all that. My god, Naja. Naja makes me mad, because people always thought he was so good. And I explained this before. I don't think that he was ever... He was maybe like I think he was lower A+, and then he got moved to maybe higher level A+. Like, he wasn't really that incredibly overpowered. Like, he was never really overpowered at Vine. It's just like people weren't used to playing against them in general, right? I guess kit's still the same thing. It's just he would crit a little more often, do a little more damage. You just be prepared for that, right? It was a little, like, overdramatic at times. Like, I think the thing that threw people off was just, like, sometimes people would get really lucky and just crit at the wildest times, and they would blame RNG in certain cases on the factor of how he was so OP. But I don't think he was. I don't think he was that overpowered. People just weren't experienced with playing against them, I think. There's play style. Anyway, that's enough of that. Okay, Nemesis. Nemesis fell off as well. Same thing. Attacker's Blessing. It did kind of help with the whole early game clear thing, but I think Bluestone was better for that. And the only problem is you'd have to go like straight into boots and then defense, and it's not as good as like, you know, like a Death's Toll, like having sustain, attack speed boots, going into like Stonecutting, Haste, and Katana. It's more difficult to get online with Nemesis, and right now it's a snowball meta, like I said. So although she has an incredible late game, it's still difficult to get online there. Whew, there's a lot of talking. Holy crap. Ymir. Ymir is a very good god. If you know how to play this character, he's extremely strong, and it's very difficult to beat him. If you watch someone like Rainian play this character, you know it's not all about being oof. You have to be so good at skill shots. Literally, all it is positioning and experience. That's the thing. Like people like Rainian and other people like me, for example, who have like a lot of experience on a certain character, know the limits and know what you can do with that in certain engagements. Rather than someone could be extremely good, like top of the line at hitting a certain ability, but if you know when to position yourself, like based on experience or just knowing when to go in when, and knowing when you'd have the advantage in an engagement, you are in a much better state. Because like for example, you could build like Horrific on Ymir and then use it at a very random time that they wouldn't expect, and they're completely out of position. They don't even notice because they don't think they are. Or like you use your freeze at a certain time, use the slow, you place a certain wall. Like you can, his abilities are huge and you can see them coming, but it's pretty straight. It can catch you off guard if you're not ready for it, and it catches me off guard all freaking time. Iranian the bugger. Loki, I think the early game start also frig with him and his getting to late game, because now you can kind of snowball a little bit, get all the buffs, or at least try, have a better chance of clearing the waves, get him out of his invis, a lot of CC in the game, go for Bull Demon, and if he fights you, you can most likely kill him in the early game stages. So that's that. Cuchulainn, he's probably a little better attack speed based, but getting into it is a little difficult because you're gonna want to go ability based early game for the most part. I think I'm not really experienced with Cuchulainn, but based on the majority of the tier lists that I've looked at for Duel, we'll generally think he's right there, right around there. If you get behind with him, it's a bitch though to get your passive up and stuff. That's the only thing about Cuchulainn. I think he's fine in A+ though. Fenrir, surprisingly, I thought he would be a little higher up on this tier list. I thought I might have moved him to S-, but he shined a little more last season, or last split, the past few splits, or even last season, I think, just because you could get away with going Devgots, and you can like put that into your build, especially with the Death's Toll. The amount of sustain that you had early game and the pressure you had was just freaking ridiculous. Now, Attacker's Blessing is really great and all, but now everyone can get away with building this certain thing rather than Fenrir being unique in that aspect and being able to build that, And yeah, like it really, like working with his kit. Like, oh my god, dude, if you had full runes, you pop that too, oh my god, you're unstoppable. Doesn't matter how much anti-heal they had, even if it was early game, dude. Like, just using your sustain to your advantage, it was absurd. It was so difficult to play against. I remember Daddy Slothington used to be really fucking annoying with that character. Oh my god, that was the worst. Okay, Hell. Hell is a very snowball god. You hear that? You hear that, buddy? Hey. Psst, 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 psst. Hey. Hey. He's a snowball god. You get it? No? Okay. So, yeah. She's a really snowball god. Normally, you can go... What I do, personally, with Hell, is if you go Mage's Blessing through on Bancrofts, 2 health potions, 3 mana potions, use your 1, your 3 on the wave, you insta-clear it. And most people don't expect it, and you can just pressure the living shit out of them. Majority of the time, though, you might want to go into a Warlocks against most gods because your base health is really low, just like most mages, like Isis. It's really goddamn annoying as mages like that. But yeah, Hercules and Osiris are kind of the same thing, and Achilles, they're warriors. They work ability-based and auto-attack based. Mainly Hercules and Achilles were ability-based. Osiris still has, his AoE autos. And the majority of the time you can go like Warriors Blessing maybe, and then get away with it. Yeah, same with kind of a Amaterasu. She's kind of, I don't know, I might move her to A. She has a lot of potential though. Like she can clear the way pretty well. Attacker's Blessing. Apollo, kind of in the same boat. It's like he's not that great. He's with Hachiman, whereas he's just not that amazing. His steroid's pretty decent. His ult isn't super useful. His kit overall just doesn't feel... He's never really been amazing in Duel, like for a few seasons, I think. So I think he's fine in A+. Arachne. Do I want to keep her in A+? No, I'm going to move her to A. I don't think she's on the same line as like Bologna and stuff like that. Arachne's like, you gotta like be prepared with spiders. You gotta know how to use your kit like appropriately. She is a lot better with the new Atalanta's bow and stuff like that. But as long as you're keeping your distance, unless you get snowballed on, Arachne is kind of easy to deal with. Her ult's pretty simple, as long as you're prepared for it. All that jazz. Okay, I just heard someone outside my window. Okay. Bastet surprisingly didn't gain all that much off of Attacker's Blessing, just because she was so ability based. The previous, like, you can't build up Bastet attack speed. And I guess because other gods, you know, also got that buff with the Attacker's Blessing and stuff like that, it didn't really change where she was on a tier list, because she just kind of does the same thing. So yeah, I think she's just chilling in A+. Bellona was the same case with Erlong and all the other warriors. I feel as if warriors kind of fell off from the top, especially with Death's Toll. They used to be really good with Death's Toll and, you know, building attack speed, but we'll see where they change based on the new shield. Susanoo is in. I feel as if these ADCs, Izanami, Susanoo, Apollo, Hachiman, all in the same boat, whereas there's something to do very individual things with their kits that don't make them as amazing based on little things like, you know, Attacker's Blessing, Dev Gaunts not being as amazing as they used to be, not having the starting items. I think they all deserve to be A+. Like, they're not top of the line, but I wouldn't go as far as to say that they're S-. Same with Cupid. Although Cupid maybe S-. Cupid has a lot of I might move him. I'm like very tempted. He's between A+ and S-. He's like so close because you can go ability based early game, right? But you also have the sustain. Susanoo is kind of the same way, but his sustain isn't that amazing, and he's pretty predictable. But Cupid, I'm very tempted to move him, man. I'm very tempted. Do I move him? I don't know. He's got really good damage with his one, which helps with his clear. He's got a nice dash. He has an ult that you have to build like a sprint or a beads to get around, rather than a brace the majority of the time, so you can catch him off guard with burst. He has incredible sustain with his 2. Nice consistent steroid with his 3 that was buffed. No, I'm going to keep him in A. He's between A+ and S-, man. Jock recently got buffed a little bit. I think he deserves to be an A+. He has a lot of potential, good sustain, works with ability based. I think he deserves to be up there. Zhonghui, I might actually move to S-. Yeah, I'm going to move him though. Most mages with Bancrofts and all that, like, they can do pretty well, especially with the base health of Zhonghui. The additional like help it has early game, the crazy damage, his nice ult, and it means him to knock ups and all that. Definitely makes him like top of the line. He has a lot of potential. You get Gem of Isolation, yeah, your warlocks, you got your tick damage, and your burst with your 2. You got a stun. You got a lot of awesome stuff in your kit. I thought I was considering him moving up there as well, but it's just he, like, if you play, like, if you know what you're doing versus Thoth and Raijin, they're not going to be able to do too much. They're both pretty decent gods and really good at camping, but I don't think that's enough to make them S- material. So they just don't have that sort of killer ultimate or like really useful thing in their kit, like Vulcan and Poseidon, for example. Zhonghui's got crazy healing in his kit naturally. He's got that awesome ult. He's got a stun, and that ult is awesome. And then, like, you know, Poseidon was Kraken. But these guys, I mean, they have like what, like the taunt ult, like the skill shot ult, and then like long distance ult that he goes whoa, like really loudly, you know. Okay, so that's A+. We're getting there. We are getting there. Okay. Where are we at? 44 minutes. Okay. We are making good time, and there was hair floating everywhere. This is freaking cat. Shouldn't have brought him up here, but I wanted to show him in the video. Okay, all right. Hun Batz. Hun Batz is in the same boat as Susanoo, Thanatos, most assassins, Thor. The thing about these matchups in between like A and A+, majority of the time there isn't that huge of a skill gap. Like maybe, for example, like Thanatos versus Hun Batz could be like 60-40. for Thanatos. Just an example that might not be true. But as you can see, it can fluctuate pretty hard depending on the matchup. Like you could go Serket versus Ra, for example, and it would be like in Serket's favor because Ra is healing and all that kind of stuff. But generally, like these guys are gonna be pretty unique. But it's just overall compared to most characters, we're gonna see where we're gonna put them. So A, I think we're gonna keep them. Most of the assassins: Hun Batz, Susanoo, Thanatos, Thor, Serket. Let me move Mercury down. I don't think Mercury deserves to be there. Maybe not even a Wheelix. Oh, Wheelix is pretty bad. It's just not consistent. Like I couldn't see her in the same level as like Susanoo, Thanatos, and Hun Batz at all. Same with Mercury. He's just his clear early game with Attacker's Blessing is just it puts him down. Okay, that's fine. But so those 4 or 5 gods, the assassins, Arachne is kind of different, but the reason that they're there is that although you could consider them A+, like I did with Susanoo and Thanatos, because at times, you know, like with Attacker's Blessing, Tier 1 trans, if you snowball with them, they can seem like they're S-. Like, if I get ahead with Thanatos, majority of the time, they're going to surrender in 5 minutes, because you just insta-kill them with their 1. But you get behind with these gods, and it's like the other way around, and it's really difficult to see where they can go. But they have gotten a lot better. Their potential, I think, has gone just through the roof because of Attacker's Blessing and Tier 1 trends. They're just like Attacker's Blessing in general with the easier clear to begin with. I might move Serket down, though. Serket isn't in the exact same boat as them, I think. Maybe like she'd be like bottom of A. So I'm going to put these together. Discordia and Isis and probably Janus, I think would be lower A. Maybe even just A-. Because they have a lot of less health. Their clear is pretty decent, but their kits are really inconsistent and wonky. I feel as if Scylla would be like higher up, just because her damage, her root, her escape, her ult, they all work really well together. I'm not saying the other ones don't. It's just I feel like they have less health and they're less secure. I don't know, especially trying to clear with like Janus and stuff like that. I don't know. I think their base health just keeps them at A, like between A and A-. They're so squishy. In early game, you get 1 kill on the men. Oh my god, you're playing an early game mage and you get first blooded, dude. It is not fun. It is not fun. I think it's Discordia and Isis' escape that really screw them over. Okay, I'll keep them there though. Tyr is actually in the same boat as the other assassins. He gets ahead, he gets crazy ahead. Like that god can snowball. I've lost as like S+ tier gods versus tiers sometimes, man. Like that god, like these kind of gods, like I said, can catch you off guard. If they get ahead, they get ahead. They get friggin' ahead, man. And it's really, you got to be careful when you're dealing with it. But yeah, Tyr's in the same boat where it's like Attacker's Blessing is really good, helps with his clear. He's got that sustain with his 2. He's got a really nice ult. Got a really nice stance switch. But yeah, we'll keep him there. Ra, I was actually considering on moving to A+, just because the way his passive works and how fast he is with his heal. Early game with like Bancross, you have that online. You can heal off of things. You can catch people off guard with it. You can use the slow to secure your abilities. You get that with Gem of Isolation. And like I've lost to of Ra's as Kali before, because it's like you got that too. It slows you, and you can use that like to your advantage with like momentum. You can, if they get a frostbite, you get like a wing blade and stuff like that. Kite around them and then continue to poke them as like you keep your distance from them. Or like if they're running away, you can keep your distance, but at the same time, like be close enough to them where it's just like you can continue to poke them and then work around them. Like when I play Ra, dude, it's like a freaking game. It's just, I mean, I guess this is a video game in general, but it's just like ring around the rosy, basically, with my opponent. Because it's like, I'm not going to try and just sit there and auto-attack an ADC or like an assassin. I'm going to kite around them, juke them, wait for my abilities to come back up, kite in my heal, bait them to use their abilities in my heal, stuff like that. With your movement speed is your biggest advantage. Rama and Chiron, ugh. These guys and Jingwei, I don't know, man. They're either their clear is not great early game, their steroids aren't that consistent, they don't work as well in the early game, they're just not as high level as the other ADCs. Artemis is the same way. these ADCs just in general are not that high of a tier compared to the other ones. Artemis doesn't have an escape. Chiron's ult is not that great. Rama, early game is just bad versus Attacker's Blessing, yet late game is pretty good. But it's difficult to get there. Jingwei, I don't know, her steroid's inconsistent, crit isn't that great in Duel once you get Nemean. Her ult is okay, I don't know, she just doesn't have that much to bring to the table compared to higher tier ADCs. Ravana kind of fell off at some point, I think when he turned into an assassin, because I don't know, he feels weird. He feels like he's just out of place right now. Like, he used to just go ability-based, you'd frag, and now, like, even though he got buffed in that aspect, I don't know. Something about him, it doesn't feel nearly as strong. Like, I've played him quite a few times this split. I think I have like 400 games this split, or 300 something. I wanted a lot of games before I actually made this tier list and felt comfortable with my decisions. So yeah, he's in the same boat as Guan Yu. Guan Yu's actually pretty good. They're like hidden gems. Most of these gods are just like, they're glass cannons. They're straight up glass cannons, I think. Easily breakable, but if they fire, they freaking hurt, man. They hurt. Kukulkan is really good in that same aspect. Most of these guys are glass cannons. Nuwa, not as much of a glass cannon. She's actually pretty solid overall. She got a lot of good damage. Good clear. Only thing is that her cooldowns are pretty shit. I think that's what sets her off. Kukulkan has a slow with his 1. He has the immune to slows with his 2, which is really nice. His tornado, also very good. Only thing is it's kind of difficult to secure his ultimate if the person knows what they're doing against the Kukulkan. Kukulkan. Yeah, hitting the ultimate in Duel, like, hitting a huge ultimate that's meant to do one thing is kind of difficult to do in Duel, like with Vulcan, for example. In Kukulkan. I even find Poseidon, it's kind of difficult to hit a Kraken. If the person is really, like, if I'm really trying to juke them and they, like, screw up the rule pool, there's a very little chance they can hit me with the Kraken, like, at least on the ring. I know exactly what I'm going to Aegis and stuff like that. Big ultimates like that, when it's just concentrated on one person, it's such an easy concept, right? It's like, Kukulkan's in a straight line. And if you think he has no abilities up, right, he's probably going to ult. So if you're prepared, you can walk 2 feet to the right as you see the lines up, or even like a step before that. You just need to be prepared for that sort of thing. Like, you have to have that in the back of your head at all times for simple ultimates like that. Wukong's sort of in the same boat as the other. Okay, Ravana's not a warrior anymore. He's just not as great anymore without Bluestone. I don't know. Attacker's like, he's okay, but he just doesn't have that much to bring to the table compared to, like, he loses to most ADCs. I'd say, like, he's bottom of A. Same with Vamana. Vamana would be, like, higher A. I feel like with Guan Yu, he's pretty decent, but he just doesn't have that much to bring to the table. Like, you can get anti-heal for his ult. His kit's predictable. He can be poked out pretty easily. His clear's pretty nice, though. Zeus, same boat as the other mages that I was saying. Doesn't have that much base HP, easy to pick off if you know what you're doing, but if you do go off with them, I've beaten. I remember my last 1 kill per minute was actually against the Hebo as Zeus, so they do have a lot of potential. Okay, let us move on to... Okay, I am going to move these guys down here, because there's no way they're on the same level as, like, Daji and stuff. So Ratatoskr sucks dick. Oh my god, this god sucks in Duel. His damage is inconsistent. He's a very predictable god. It's hard for him to secure, like, a lot of things. Clear waves. He has to use so much of his kit just to clear a wave. He's just overall not that good. Same with Ao Kuang. Ao Kuang needs to use everything to clear those first waves, and if you kill them once, they don't have that much base HP, and especially with Attacker's Blessing, or just, like, Bancross, you gonna get blown the fuck up. That's what's gonna happen. Aphrodite, I'm gonna move down here. Same with Nike. They're both just... Oh. Aphrodite's friggin' horrible, dude. Prove me wrong. That god sucks. She's so bad in Duel. Ultimate is so useless. She's got, what, a knockback? She's got a heal. And a kiss that's meant for her teammates. She's like a guardian. You kiss these nuts. Anyways. Nox. No. Same. Pwash maybe A. Nox would be below A minus though. She bottom A minus. I think I'm gonna categorize these guys. Ratatoskr, Aokwang, Owilik. Jesus, this coffee is killing me. Oof, sorry about that. Ratatoskr, Aokwang, Awilix, Mercury, Daji, I think are all in the same boat where they're basically just assassins that have to use a lot to clear. They struggle to clear. Their sustain isn't that great. They're not that great early game, as great as... They don't have that much to give compared to the other characters, like the higher tier ones. Like if you're to compare, compare Ratatoskr to playing Susanoo, for example, or Hun Batz. Hun Batz, he walks up and he uses his 2 on the wave and almost insta-clears the whole thing. Ratatoskr has to use his 2, maybe even his 3 on the wave, and then maybe dash, and that's all he's got. Hun Batz can throw his 3 to teleport on him, auto reset off of that. He has a slow, he could ult him, although Ratatoskr could ult out of his ult, but he just has so little in his kit to give, and his damage just overall isn't that amazing. Acorns are okay, but I don't know. Just, I don't know, compare, like, if I was, like, from my perspective, if I was to just look at those characters and compare them to the characters in A, I feel as if they don't have that much, they don't bring that much to the table, you know? They just don't have that much. Or it's very predictable in Duel, very simple stuff. Artio, maybe A-. The only problem with Artio is ending. Ending is such a bitch with this, like, she's actually pretty good. She got good clear, high damage, solid clear, decent healing. Same with Cabrakan, but it's just like ending the freaking game as these guys, man. They'd be bottom of A-. Very bottom. Chang'e just sucks. She's very squishy. Her passive's okay. She's really predictable. She's got like healing, yeah, but early game gods just don't give a fuck about healing. They'll just insta-clear the wave and poke you. Can't out-heal death. So yeah, that's that. Odin, his clear is just, you know, everything. Everything about him. So you gotta waste that. His ult isn't that amazing. Against healers, he's okay. Morgan just has nothing to bring to the table except for the most basic shit you see. Like an invis that if you catch her out of, she's fucked. She's got her 2. And oof, her 1 that you'll never see coming that she has to charge up and see in a straight triangle fucking line. So it's like, oh yeah, woo, she can ult into you, but yeah, ult into me when I'm 10 levels ahead. I don't know. She's just not all that great. She's okay. Like, maybe I'd put her in A. It's just, like, she's kind of a glass cannon. I'd put her in, like, sort of the glass cannon department. Because if you do get ahead with her, and you're careful with her, and you just don't fight until your ult's up, I guess you can do okay with her. But I wouldn't consider her that great at all, if you know what you're doing against her. Please don't tell me that unplugged. Oh my god, dude, my mic unplugs, it fucks up my recordings. I would have screamed. Okay. Okay. Daji. Same boat as the other assassins. I already said her. X-Ball. Maybe I'll move him. I think I could see him in the same boat as like Chiron and like Artemis maybe. Whereas he's just not amazing. But at the same time, he's not horrible. His ult is just really fucking useless. Yeah, I keep him in the same boat as A though. Alright, and that's all for A-. We talked about Awilix, talked about all these. B, I mean, I really don't think I need to talk about this. I mean, all these characters are just guys you practically can't play in Duel unless you're memeing or just going for funny videos at Master or just, you know, just trying to do whatever. They're difficult gods. I mean, maybe we can move a few from B that could potentially be maybe an A- like Artio and Cabrakan. Bit of a stretch. Maybe even Nike, bottom of A-. You could change these around a little bit, but overall it's not, it doesn't matter that much, you know. It's still, they're still very low tier gods and difficult to play. And if you were to picture yourself playing these gods against any of these, then majority of the time, you know, you'd end up on the bottom. I think I'm satisfied with this though. The 1 hour mark, that's how long it took. I think I'm satisfied with this tier list. I might change it up a little bit, we'll see. I think that's how I'm going to keep it for now, though. I like this. I like this tier list. So like I said, for the guidelines of it, I'm not going to go over them again. But yeah, I explained in depth majority of the gods, almost all of them, of why I put them there, categorize them. What do I end this video on? If you want to check out the tier list, check out the link in the description. Like I said, follow my Instagram. Check us out. We're going to be streaming here any minute. Doing a drunk stream, celebrating a lot. Check out Into the AM for the awesome sweaters. I get compliments all the time, and like from people I don't even know that think these sweaters are freaking awesome, man. And take my word for it because a lot of people do that. Even my fans have told me the same thing. Like I said, you have any feelings about where a god should be? Let me know in the comments. This is my experience, by the way. My opinion, as from my own point of view, as I was number 4 in GM for the past like few weeks. I think I went down because I just got back from a vacation for 5 days. But I've been on top of the leaderboards. I'm number 1 with like quite a few characters. I play a ton every single day. I would stream every single day. I wanted to give myself. I gave myself, I think, like a month into the split with like 300 some games. I would watch other people play, watching streams. And then overall, just like all the matches, I played tons of low tier characters. The list goes on. I wanted to be prepared as I could, and give my best opinion on what the meta is like in Duel at the moment. So like I said, if you have any opinions, be sure to leave me some information in the comments. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I upload twice a day. I upload tier lists. I've got a montage coming. Oops. I've got lots of awesome stuff. Start doing some conquests. We're gonna have some stream highlights that are gonna be coming out. More face cam bids, all this awesome stuff. You should definitely consider subscribing. Supports the channel. Check out my stream. Do all that. Like the video if you enjoyed this tier list. Let me know your thoughts. Anyways, I will see you in the next video, guys. Have a good one. Hope you enjoyed the tier list. Bye-bye.